guys to see it, to create a connection so you know what to look for. So when we look at how to start to expand these ideas, you've got the what do I look for, what do I see, what do I start to notice, okay? And plus, it's been 4 weeks since our last course in Melbourne. I'm missing talking to people and screwing around with them. Okay, so I have my fun as well. So let me just recap on what we've done so far. With this type of course, or this one-day workshop, talking about the hypnotic interview is something that is very hard to start off very simply and get to a very confusing level, which is where we will go. What happens with this, because we're talking about a lot of elements no one has any idea about, or this is brand new to you, it's very hard to start in that very easy place. So I do apologise if it seems like I'm rushing things. We will get to a point where we're going to play with all these ideas once we have them all down. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's recap. What are we doing right now? We're just playing with the idea of a hypnotic interview. All we're learning to do is find out what is unconscious information that we want to listen to compared to conscious fluff that we don't want to get sucked into. That's all we're doing. And the easiest way to do this, to show you guys how to do this so it is natural, is to play with this hypnotic interview. Okay? Before we went to the break, we had a look at what is a bit more of a leverage answer compared to emotion. So I do want to bring this up to have a discussion. Who started to notice more emotions from some responses compared to others? Now that I've pointed it out. Okay? Who noticed that those emotional responses tended to be equipped with a little bit more deeper thinking? Anyone notice that? It's like the answer they gave you, it sounded like they almost meant it. It wasn't just spur of the moment, I'm just going to tell you this because that's what I tell everyone. Who else heard some leverage answers? Okay, when you look at leverage, just the why do I want to do this? Okay, who heard those? Yeah. Okay, when you're working with your clients, for the clients if you were you surprised at some point by some of the answers you were given? Okay, I heard it up here and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up. I didn't hear the conversation. We got to the point where our client was saying, oh, I didn't realise it would be this deep. I didn't know I'd be talking about. Okay, what this is, just to show you what happened here, is sometimes if you're doing this stuff, let's say more socially, like with a friend at a bar or a club or maybe not a funeral, maybe like a wedding or something happy, and you're talking to someone and they start to get very deep and emotional about what they're talking about, and it becomes quite a surprise for them. What this is, just so you can see it occurring from now on, is this the unconscious mind of my saying, oh, I like this conversation, you get this done, let's deal with this now. We talk about abreactions in the certified hypnotist course because they come out of nowhere. Now an abreaction is an abnormal reaction to trance, which is a bad thing. But we also looked at the good side, because if a client does go into this bad situation of the abreaction, it means that their unconscious must trust you so much and is willing to give you the whole kitchen sink of the problem. Does that make sense? So it's good and bad. There's the double edge on each side. Okay? So is there any question about what we've done so far? Knowing we've done one thing, played with it for maybe 6 or 7 minutes, we'll have a longer time after lunch. Anyone have any questions about what we've done so far? That's a good thing to guess. What I would like to do now is give you guys a short demonstration. Okay? Just on this. Just want to show you how we can just use questions like what, when, hows, whys, and what we will do is after a question, I'll say, look, did everyone see that response? Or did everyone hear what they just said? And we'll have a discussion through the conversation, okay? So before you point out each other and dob each other and say you're going to do it and kick them up the front, I do want to point out the last part so you can see it live in the moment, which is this, unconscious moments, okay? Let's make a complete list as much as we can. So when we do our demonstration, you're going to see the leverage questions and hear them. You're going to hear the emotion questions, but you're also going to see these unconscious moments. Then when we see them, seeing them is the hardest bit and hearing them. Once they're there, I'll show you guys how to use them properly for this thing we call hypnosis and trance. But let's get a clear distinction about what is an unconscious moment. Classical terms, it's the hypnotic cue. The way I like to look at it is, my client is going to show me or tell me when they're going into trance. Either they're going into it or they're there. Okay? What sorts of things would be apparent to us as hypnotists if we were spotting unconscious moments? So let me write this up. What types of things would we see? and here. So it would let us know that our client is a little bit more of an unconscious state. When I say unconscious state, what's happening is the conscious mind is either too busy and too confused trying to figure out what the hell you're talking about. It gets absorbed in its own thinking, and it gives the unconscious mind time to express itself. Okay, that's where those clues and those aha moments come out. What types of things would we see in here that would let us know that an unconscious moment or a hypnotic cue is present? Think of the basics.
The eyelids fluttering.
Yep, so the eye flutter. So blink reflex, it'll either slow down or it'll speed up. In some cases, it's a little bit frequent this happens, our clients won't blink at all. Okay? There's got to be, there's both sides of that. People talk about, for someone to go into trance, their eyes have to blink a lot. No, they don't. It's anything that's out of the ordinary. Okay? So it's either going to increase, it's going to slow down, or it's not going to blink at all. Might have to spit into their eyes to keep the moisture in there. Okay? What else?
Gazing off into the distance.
Yep. So can we look at attention? You'll find that their attention either gets focused on you or to get focused on an inanimate object. For those who've done Ericksonian training, we talked about that. It'll go from one thing to the other. Or, and I'm sure we've seen people do this, when people are thinking about something very hard and deeply, it's like they're looking at something but they're not really paying attention to what they're looking at. Okay? This is the attention, this is the focus. And again, it increases, it decreases, or it'll just stay on you. Either way, I'm happy with it. What else?
Giggles.
Yep, giggles, yep. What else?
Sighing.
Sighing, yes. What do we mean by sighing?
When you may ask people a question and they go, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Silence.
So everyone knows what happens when someone sighs. It's just that release of what we could call energy, if you want to. You ask them a question and they go. Everyone's seen someone do that, right? Okay, that's an unconscious response. Okay? And it will happen through a normal conversation. We've all seen this. This is not just suiting hypnosis, this is suiting any time you talk to someone. Okay, what else?
Shifting their position.
Yep, so shifting position. Can we put posture next to that? Everyone happy with that? Posture. Now again, there's a big myth that says that a client has to be relaxed in order to go into hypnosis. I don't know how people work that out. It's very common, but it's more of a side effect rather than I have to put my client to a relaxed state. If you think of someone that jumps out of a plane, that's a very unconscious state for you to say, okay, body, screw you, I'm going to do this anyway. And they yell and scream and act like a maniac. Has anyone jumped out of a plane before? Excellent. How was it for you?
Pretty unconscious.
Yep. Okay. Did you have those thoughts like, what the hell am I doing?
Yes, and the words were exactly that.
Yes. Yeah, with more swear words, right? Yeah. And that's the conscious and unconscious rationalising with each other. But you would agree there had to be some sort of unconscious state where you just went crazy. I don't know if you were yelling and screaming all the way down.
It was fantastic.
Yep.
It's just huge, adrenaline rush.
Yeah. Now, when I think jump out of a plane, screw you.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me it's fantastic. If you try to convince me otherwise, no chance. So you see that distinction right there. Okay. So what else do we have?
Emotions, so like tearing up. Or
Yep. Absolutely. Emotion's a big one. That's why we included it in the interview. Now this could be something from tearing up, anxiety, getting scared, getting fearful. A lot of hypnotists talk about that it has to be all positive emotions for hypnosis. Your clients will go through a range like a roller coaster they go on. Okay? And it comes back to that myth again that I think it's not that it's wrong, but it just sticks people like this is the way it has to be. Like I have to relax my client. If that's the only hypnosis you go for, you're going to miss out on other ways to do things. If you're only looking for positive emotions, who's ever seen a client where they're crying and laughing and they feel okay about it, but at the same time they hate it all at the same time? So their head's going to explode. There's so much happening. This is all the unconscious mind processing, whatever they're processing. Hopefully we'll get to see it. What else?
Inability to speak.
Yeah, inability to speak. Oh, I should have made it a little bit clearer. My 4-year-old writing will clear up, I do promise. So speaking. Opposite too, speaking way too much. The stage hypnosis show depend on taking someone's ability away that can speak. Okay, again, that's a process in itself, but it just proves a total unconscious moment. We don't have to think about speaking, do we? We just do it. Okay? So it has to be at an unconscious level that it happens. What else? Let's get one more.
The ums and ahs.
Ums and ahs, yes. Can I put the aha moments? Okay, and this is inclusive. Ums and ahs. We know when someone's umming and ahhing. Who's here? Who's got children here? You say, did you spill that? And they go, while they're trying to think of what to tell you. What's happening here? They're going on an unconscious search to try and find the answer that you want to hear. And they still screw it up. Right? And you know right then and there, you're lying to me. You know you did that, you're just trying to escape it. Does that make sense? So this can happen if you look at ums and ahs from that perspective. What this is telling us is the client cannot find the right information consciously, and the conscious mind just can't work it out, so it goes and does what it does. And now the unconscious mind, you're going on what's called an unconscious search. And these unconscious moments, as a whole, that's all in there, plus there's an endless list, will present itself while they're going on that search. Does that make sense? Unconscious moments happen while they're in trance, but also on the way to trance. Okay? So what I would like to do is we're going to have a volunteer at the front with me. I do need somebody, I can't talk to myself. Do you want to come up, Kerry? Okay, give Kerry a round of applause. Come on up. Let's be a little bit more intimate. You can adjust that any way you like to, but have yourself a seat. Oh, they're a bit high? Yeah, do you want to grab one of those? Yeah, let's use those chairs. If anyone up the front, you guys just want to move off to the side a bit, just so we can, I'll join you at that level, okay? Forget everyone's not 6 foot like me. There we go, I'll move that, there we go. Just so we get a good view of this. Have a seat. Excellent. Okay? So, all I want to take Kerry through right now is just this questioning phase. Okay? So we have some notes. Do you guys want that, or do you want the actual questions, the what's, when's, why's question? What do you guys prefer? Okay? You will have to, if I do move this over, you need to pay attention to these. Okay? Keep those there. Now I will stop. I'll ask Kerry first. Are you okay if we just have a chat about this, knowing that I don't know where it's going to come? Okay, you're happy to share this with everyone?
Yep.
And the world at large? Excellent. Okay? I don't know how many other people out there want to see this. But also, hopefully it's okay with you if I do this, is as we go through the conversation, I'm going to stop and go, did everyone see that? Did everyone hear what she just said? And we'll have that, you're pretty familiar with that routine, okay? So, what is it you want to talk about? What is it you want to do?
Have some more motivation.
Excellent. Let's pause right there. What do we know so far? Motivation. Can someone bring their motivation script? Because I could use it right now. I'm not thinking in my head, motivation routine. Here we go. Sports enhancement routine. Spider routine. All I know is Kerry thinks she wants motivation. That's all I can assume. Why can we say that Kerry thinks she wants motivation?
She said it easily.
Yep. Okay. But also, she's here today. Took some motivation to come spend another day with me. So I know that might not be an issue. Does that make sense? Okay. So we need to just go through our list of questions. What's, when's, how's? Let's just get some more information to see where this takes us. Okay. So motivation in regards to what? What for?
Getting things done, doing exercise. Yeah, that's it in general.
Okay. So where are we now? Not a lot of emotion, is there? Now let me give you this, and hopefully this will match your experience. You know when someone wants to exercise or do something better in their life, and they go, yeah, I want to get motivated to go to the gym to be healthy. Isn't that what everyone wants in life? Why don't we do it then? It's a universal experience, would you agree?
Yeah.
Kerry knows it too. I know Kerry well. She's very intelligent. She can figure this stuff out. The question is, why isn't she not doing it? Does that make sense? 2 questions, okay? We don't know anymore, but it's just we don't want to get started getting sucked into this, okay? So there's something in your life you're lacking motivation.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it then? That's us saying what you just told me is rubbish.
Yeah.
Think of something else. Okay? So what do you want motivation for? Or let me ask this, what's wrong with the motivation you have now?
I don't have enough. I will make a list of things I want to do, but never seem to get around to doing them.
Right. So what do we know now? Could be. We know one thing. She's already tried to fix it. What did she say? I tried to make a list. This highlights the point I made earlier. Perfect. What part of the mind do you use to make a list? Yeah. Who's got those lists at home? I've got 10 whiteboards in my office with things I should do. Okay? And again, and this is not to take anything away from what Carrie's going through. See how she's just blasé, not really like going on. Okay? So are we any further into helping Carrie at all? Time-wise we are. And we're starting to see some little unconscious moments, but not enough that we can start to leverage off that. Okay? So, if we're going down one road, and that's not working, what do we need to do? We're going to chop and change till we find the doorway. Okay? We're going to trip over the unconscious moment that she's giving us. Okay? All we can assume right now is Carrie's got some issues with motivation. I don't know what she wants it for. I don't know what's wrong with the level she has now. I don't know why she wants it. She told me a couple of things, but I know that's not the case. Okay? So we just need to ask another question. Okay? So some sort of motivational issues in your life, right? Mm-hmm. So how does having less motivation than you need affect you?
I'm getting behind in some orders that I have. I'm not exercising enough.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
Thinking. Yeah, know what I should be doing, but I'm not doing it.
So what's happened right now? Okay. What was the last thing Carrie told us?
She knows what she should be doing and she's not doing it.
Is that like everyone's life? I know what I should do, but I just don't. All this other stuff, I want motivation for this, this and this. She just told us she knows what she needs to do, but she just can't do it. This is a de-integration. What's happening here, I know what to do consciously, unconsciously, I just don't know how to do it. You see, from just a couple of questions, we haven't pulled out our routine to say, oh, okay, well, Carrie's told me she needs motivation. I've got a technique for that. I'll give her maybe some more confidence to be motivated about doing stuff. I may get into a coaching routine and go, well, what would you do? What could you do? But then I'm missing the point. Okay, does that make sense so far? And we could see that little thinking thing she went through.